Network, we have a very special guest with us today. We have Mr. Tequila, the Juan Bonilla, the founder of the Viva Tequila Festival, which is coming to Atlanta September 25th at Truist Park.
That's right.
And look at this lovely, lovely collection of tequilas.
Look at it, you guys. There's so much. I don't even know what to do.
I just brought you guys a few samples of what you're going to see at the festival. The festival is all about the tequilas, mezcales, raicillas, and everything that comes from the agave plant. So you want to taste as much as you can.
And we are here for it.
We are ready for that.
So we are going to taste through some tequilas. We're going to talk a little bit about the festival. Let's hear a little bit about our guest here and how he's came to be so involved with the beautiful tequilas.
The beautiful spirit.
Thank you very much, guys, for the invitation. I really appreciate it. There's a lot of tequila out there. Don't be afraid of it. You know, just give tequila a shot. It's all right.
That's right.
Yes, and just because you don't like
You
one
don't always
thing
have to shoot it.
doesn't mean you don't like the others.
Yeah. One of the things that don't shoot, tequila is not meant to be shot. There's some type of tequilas for that, but definitely none of the ones that you see in front of you are designed to do that. It's all tasting. So just to give you a little bit of history why we created this festival, right? I've been doing tastings for a number of years, and what we do is we invite people to join us at a restaurant. In the restaurant we prepare food, and each one of those plates the chef tells me what's the preparation. I go with him and we curate that experience, so we pair one particular tequila with that dish. So that way you as a consumer, you come in and say, oh wow, it's going to be a 5 or 6 course dinner, and each one of them will have a different tequila, and it's all tasting. And a lot of people are concerned or afraid, or you know, they got their doubts.
How am I going to drink this much?
Yeah, but once they're there sitting and understanding and actually tasting it, they'll figure out that it's a completely different experience. It's almost like wine, in the sense that each one of them will taste completely different. If you taste it by itself, without the food, it tastes one way. If you taste it with the food, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And depending on what you have to eat before, then the next dish is going to taste different. And that's what we're trying to educate people on. And you know, the chefs are all on board with us, trying to create these amazing plates and dishes and things to tell your palate, hey, you know, take a look at this shrimp or this risotto or this sushi. You know, each one of the food items will be paired perfectly. And after a number of years of doing that, we decided to go a little bigger. We help a lot of corporate events, kind of like, you know, going to 100 to 1,000 people, and that was great too, but we needed a forum where we can actually show this to more people.
And that's when the Viva Tequila Festival was born, right?
Exactly. So
now you can expect to taste, I mean, how many tequilas at this festival?
Usually our number is between 40 and 60.
Okay,
So,
wonderful.
It depends on the year.
So Uber's going to be very busy around the festival, you guys.
Yeah, maybe
make sure
pre-book
everybody
your
figures out your
Ubers.
ride home and your ride there. Yeah,
Absolutely. Just we have a VIP room too at the festival, and in that VIP room we got even higher end or more special selections, and those are very hard, very rare, unique tequilas that, you know, it's only there you can taste.
Right.
And some of those bottles can go all the way up to the, you know, $2,000, $3,000 range. And a lot of people, if you've never tasted before, are kind of like, well, why should I pay that much money? So this is an opportunity for you to go and taste some of those extremely rare tequilas and then decide, hey, this is the right one. I want to try that. Or, you know, if you're like me, you buy them all. And then keep curating a big collection of tequila.
I think we have a few of those super rare bottles with us here today.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to experience some.
We're extremely lucky to have this amazing collection in front of us right now.
So in your experience, would you always say you should always start with the Blanco, or do you have any kind of tradition here?
Since I have all this, and right now it's kind of like midday, I prefer to start with a reposado.
Okay.
I want you guys to experience from there, so that way we can go down to the Blanco and up to the Añejo. And I will tell you what's the difference, so you can start seeing on your palate what's going on.
Yeah, great.
One of the first things when tasting tequila is the glassware, right? The glassware is an important piece of this. This is the small glass, we call it sniffer or small cognac glass. And the reason why we use this is it allows you to smell the tequila much better than if you use any other container. So we're gonna start with this one here. It's called the Mi Tierra Reposado. It's very small batch production of tequila. Right now, we only can have it here in Georgia or in Mexico. That's the only place you can get it.
Wow, we're lucky, guys. You hear that?
We're definitely lucky here. I'm gonna pour just 2 because I want to show you some others, but one for each one of you.
Oh wow!
And then one for me. That's the way it goes.
And guys, pay attention to the bottle shape. This is the bottle is to represent the piña, which is the heart of the agave.
I'm gonna put it close.
And look at it. You know, the piña is called the piña because it looks almost like a giant pineapple. Was that correct?
That is correct.
So, and this really, the bottle nails it. It's beautiful.
Beautiful bottle.
Yeah, I mean, they spend a lot of time and effort trying to do these bottles. I mean, each producer really invest. You don't know the amount of hours trying to get the perfect bottle or the perfect juice, and just represent what they are. This one in particular too, I don't know if you noticed, but it's all metal on the labels, and those labels are also, you know, they're pressed on a machine.
It's
but then
real metal on there.
After that, you gotta paste it by hand. So that's why you see just a little different corrugation.
Yeah, that adds to the romance of the entire experience. It's a beautiful bottle.
You can see the glass is blown glass. They use a mold just to kind of keep it in shape, but still it's all manually done. And even the cork has glass on it. That's also super cool. Not a lot of bottles in the industry use this technique because it's very time consuming. So even that is a piece of art by itself. So
Absolutely.
hopefully you enjoy it. So wait to taste tequila, guys. I mean, if you move it a little bit, you see the legs, or what we call the fingers or legs, you know, either way you want to call it. But it's just the amount of alcohol or sugars that it has, it will be represented here. So if it has a lot of sugars, you'll see a lot of those legs. If you don't see those, then there's not that many sugars. That's a good way to see it. Now the smell, the closer you get to the rim, the more alcohol, and the further away you get to the rim, the more of the agave you're gonna get. Right. So that's why you kind of like move it back and forward until you get the right or the precise aroma.
Similar to smelling whiskeys, nosing whiskey.
It is like nosing whiskey or nosing wine.
Yeah, exactly the same technique. And then to taste it, I always tell people kiss the glass. That's something that you'll see on our website, and everywhere I go, I always tell people just kiss the glass, but with a little tequila. So
that's so cute.
So the very first kiss is just a tiny bit of tequila you put on your mouth, and that tells your mouth, hey guys, there's tequila, we're gonna be drinking. Everybody get ready. So the next one is actually the one that you're going to taste. So the second one is a little further down. And that one you should get the difference on the agave, some of the notes, some of those things. And then by the third one is when you really get the wood and all those other notes.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, I like
I
that
like the
three-step.
part.
The three-step tasting.
Yeah,
That's nice.
And the third one is the one that really is going to give you all the full package, as we call it. So,
and that is the full package. That is an amazingly delicious tequila.
This tequila, in particularly, that they actually put a little leaf of the agave plant in the barrel.
Oh.
So that gives this almost like a tea scent. I don't know if you notice that. If you go and visit it again and drink it a little bit, you'll
it
get
has
a lot of
a
the
bright
plant.
vegetal kind of plant-like.
It has some of the chlorophyll aspects of the very green plant and the taste of the agave. This is from the lowlands, so it will have also some mineral taste. It will be just a little bit more of the salty, peppery type of profile. And the highlands, that's the next one we're going to taste, that will be more on the sugary or more sweet.
Okay, yeah, I definitely get that salt on this one.
It is a little bit minerally.
The salinity
it's nice.
but it's really nice and balanced. Well, that was amazing.
That was incredible, guys. That's one of the top tequila experiences of my life, I think, so far. It was really good.
So what does Juan have for us next?
Yeah, well, now we're going to try the Don Nacho Extra Premium. This one here is from the Highlands, so it's going to be a little bit more on the sweet side of things. And I'm just going to pour you a little bit so you can experience too. The same process, please do the kiss.
Okay.
And then the second and then the third, so you can actually get the
three steps.
So the three-step.
Yeah, and I'll walk you through some of the differences. So the very first thing, you know, a lot of people don't understand, but in Mexico, not everywhere in Mexico you can grow agaves for tequila. That is a very important thing. Most people believe that, you know, the tequila can be made everywhere, but no, there's a regulation and there's only a certain patch of land that you can produce tequila. And the first one, or the biggest one, is Jalisco, and that's the one that most people know about because it's the whole state. So they produce the most tequila in the world. But there's other 4 states that can produce tequila, and they're just small patches of the states. Think about like a zip code, like only like 4 more zip codes can actually produce tequila, and Jalisco is the whole state. But within Jalisco, we have the highlands and the lowlands. The lowlands is what traditionally we all know as the tequila land, because that's a valley that is, as far as the eye can see, and there's only one volcano in the middle. And that's the one that actually creates all the properties for the good tequilas and the agaves. But in the
soil content is the volcanic soil.
Exactly. If you go south from there, about, I'll say probably 200, 300 miles, then we have these beautiful mountains, very similar to the Georgia mountains here, where, they're good elevation, but it's very green. It has a lot of rain. And that's what produces the highland tequilas. And the highland tequilas are the new kids on the block. If you think about the old school, the Cuervo family, Salsa family, Herradura, those are all in the valley, in the tequila valley. But the highland tequilas, those are the new ones that came about. Don Julio, Patron, Cazadores, they all come from the highlands. It's a completely different taste profile, and that's what you're going to experience.
I feel like I'm getting vanilla.
There you go.
A lot of, absolutely.
A lot of people
caramel,
think that
vanilla.
there's caramels and vanilla, but no, that's the actual agave syrup. Agave by itself is very, very sweet. We got agave syrups. You've probably seen it in most stores and some cocktails. They're using agave
we use
syrup.
it all the time.
Oh yeah.
So it's very sweet by nature. However, in the highlands, it's even sweeter because they have a lot more water into it. So the plant grows a lot more sugars. But they're not the bad sugars, we call it. This is the type of sugars that even diabetic people can actually eat.
The good sugar.
It's a lower glycemic index.
Exactly. So whenever you need to sweet your coffee in the morning, use tequila.
There you go. You heard it here first. Tequila coffee.
Start your morning off right with tequila and coffee.
Absolutely. What do you guys think of this flavor?
This is fantastic. I think this is a little more delicate than the first one, especially the on the nose.
Yeah. The difference of that delicacy, I think you put it in a perfect term, is because this is called an extra premium. Extra premium means that from the agave plant, if you remove the core, think about a pineapple, right? The core is very dense and is very sour compared to the rest of the pineapple.
Right.
The same on the agave plant. And if you remove the core, the government allows you to put an extra premium to the label.
Oh, I never knew.
And that's very, very few do that, because you not waste, but you eliminate about 30 to 40% of the juice that you can get out of the plant if you do that.
Wow.
So it gets extremely expensive.
Yeah.
But the flavor is just amazing.
It really
that's something
truly
you
is.
want to try. Yeah.
And man, if smelling this, nosing this, this aroma coming off this tequila, smelling some normal tequila that you may find, that you may use in your margaritas. This is like, it's like it's like a different universe.
It's day and night.
It really is.
It's like walking into a porta-john or smelling a bouquet of flowers.
It's like Bath and Body Works body splash versus like a really high-end perfume.
Versus a really nice Tom Ford perfume.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's what we go after. We try to educate all the people about different tequilas and stuff, but definitely the taste. We're trying to take you as far away as possible from your bad experience in college, spring breaks, and all that, and gets you to where tequila should taste. A lot of people think tequila is cheap. Tequila is
it has a worm every time.
There's so much misinformation out there about tequila. There's a lot of stigma. I mean, I know in college personally, our go-to tequila was called Tortilla Gold.
Tortilla Gold.
And it was bottom shelf. It was in a plastic bottle. We mixed it with Gatorade. But luckily I was able to get over that part of my life.
You survived.
We saw tequilas when we were, Haley and I did our honeymoon in Southeast Asia, and when we were in Cambodia,
oh my gosh,
we were at a bar in Cambodia where a friend of ours actually is on the top of a hostel, and our friend actually worked at the hostel, and the tequila was from the Philippines.
Yeah,
right.
So they called it
right off the bat. It's not tequila. It can't be.
It was grain alcohol.
Grain alcohol with caramel coloring. And some sort of flavoring that they think tastes the way tequila does. It was really bad.
The next morning was not pretty. Right. Let's just say that.
Yeah, most people in the world, including here in the United States and even in Mexico, don't understand what it takes to create tequila. However, tequila got such a great name, and everybody uses it, and we even use it for our festival. The tequila word is huge. A lot of people don't know what it means or where it comes from. It's actually the town. The town is called Tequila. And that's why, the spirit is called tequila. The first denomination of origin came from the King of Spain. And he allowed the Cuervo family to call it the wine of tequila, or vino de tequila
Okay.
in Espanol. So
That's good info right here.
that's why our site is called Tequila Wine. That's the
Okay.
They're bringing it all back together.
Yep. And however, Mexico got independent, and after Mexico got independent, then that denomination of origin pretty much just was not valid. And it was several hundreds of years later when the Don Julio family actually started pushing very hard to get it back. Because if you go around the world, there's so many of these bad tequilas or things that are not even tequila, but they
Right.
put the word in it. So the Mexican government came about and say, all right, we're going to regulate the whole industry, and we're going to create a organism, right, to make sure that whoever puts tequila on the label it means real tequila,
Right.
not just some green juice.
Just
from
whatever
somewhere.
yeah.
This guy got a bottle from here. This is one of the very beautiful bottles, but you just look on the bottles. We'll do a zoom in a minute, but it should say always NOM and then a number and then CRT. Those three things together tell you that that is from Mexico and is
Not the
validated and is validated by a government body. So
Okay.
it's completely legit. And there's tons of places where you can find out about that particular number. If you put it on the internet, it will tell you which factory it is, where it's from, and all that good stuff.
And it should be in numerical order so that if you have 001, that should be the original or the first one to register.
For the most time, yeah. Like the smaller the number, the older the house is,
Right.
and they put the number is for the distillery, not necessarily the brand. So the brand could be distilled in different
Okay.
locations, but the distillery will have its unique number.
Similar to a wine that's been bottled from other
Exactly.
vineyards.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Great.
Great.
Well, I don't know if I'm ready to say goodbye to this one yet. This is amazing.
So if you go to the Viva Tequila Festival website, you can see a list of tequilas, and just actually purchase it from there. It will get to your house.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Guys, check it out on the Viva Tequila website.
Let's just recap. We've tried the what was the first one called?
First one's called Mi Tierra. It's a reposado. And
This
I can't
big-
even talk about the differences, but yeah, let's go with that first. And then we try an extra
The Don
premium,
Nacho.
also a reposado. And now I want you guys to try a blanco, just to switch a little bit the tone.
So we're moving from Reposado Rested, which is your middle age statement, to the
Blanco,
first.
which is not
which
aged
is
at
unaged.
all.
Exactly.
Right.
Let me pour it, and then I'll talk about the differences. I'm gonna use the same bottle we used to show you the CRT. It's
Ooh,
called the
fresh
Don Fernando.
bottle.
Look at that, y'all.
Yeah, well, we'll crank it
You're
open
so
so you can see.
special.
I always like to do these, guys, so whenever you're opening bottles,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
That way you wet a little bit the cork, and it's easier to take out.
Oh,
And then
cool
you
tip.
just Pour a little bit on each.
That's a good tip for any kind of spirit that you're opening, guys.
Or even
Yeah.
wine. Like you just turn it around a couple times. That helps
Yep.
you
I
just.
feel like probably especially with the natural corks too.
It probably also aerates a little bit, and then if you have sediment in the bottom, it mixes everything up.
Yeah.
So
Lovely.
So the difference between the Blanco, the Repo, and the Añejo, right? Those are the three main categories, but we actually have a fourth one called the Extra Añejo. And what that means is the amount of months that you put it on a barrel. The government put on the rules is like, okay, if you put it in a barrel, you gotta tell me how long it's gonna be in that barrel
Right.
before you put it on, so we can actually tell you, okay, that's a reposado. So if you're gonna create a reposado, the minimum is 3 months or 90 days. It's just the bare minimum. And then you take it out of the barrel, then you can label it as reposado. The next one, if you let it longer, is 1 year. After 1 year, you can call it añejo, right? So
Okay.
the blanco is just blanco. There's no aging on it. Or if you want to add something to it, that's fine, but it's a blanco. If you put it in the barrel for 3 months, that's a reposado. And then if you put it in the barrel or leave it on the barrel up to a year, then that gets to your añejo. And then if you put it more than 3 years, then that's your extra.
So it's more than 3 years.
3 times the length of a regular añejo.
Exactly. And the thing is, in price points, right? You see the price rising. What happened is that every time you put it in a barrel, there's evaporation.
Right.
So if
the
you put-
angel share, right?
if you-
Do you call it that in Mexico or no?
No, we call it the spirit share, or to
Okay.
go for Los Santos. It's basically the
Goes
same.
for the
It's
saints.
for the saints or
For the saints.
or the dead people. But the reality is that the evaporation happened so dramatically that for 1 liter that you put before the barrel, you put it on the barrel for 3 months, maybe it's about the same. But if you leave it all the way to a year, you get probably 20% out. And if you leave it for 3 years or more, then you can get to 40 or 50% out.
Right.
We got one of the extra añejos here. I'll show you that. And that we were able to get a barrel. Usually holds about 250. I'm just gonna round the number. Don't quote me on that, but it's 250. And then if you do an añejo, then you can probably get like 220 or 210.
Wow.
And if you get an extra añejo, you can go to 100. You know,
Yeah.
So drastically goes down.
Now, are a lot of tequila producers using used American whiskey barrels?
Oh yeah, that's the most common barrel that we use.
Is it always bourbon or is it rye or is
It
it?
could be whatever. I mean, depending on which barrel you use, you're going to change the characteristics of the taste.
Right.
Right.
Especially the longer you leave it on that barrel, the more of those characteristics will come out.
Right.
And the darker the product will, the juice will get darker because of that contact with the wood.
The color that you see on any of these bottles that have been aged is because of the wood that they were using.
Right.
So not necessarily the darker is better. It's just different woods.
Yeah.
Right.
It all depends on your palate. So the one
Honestly,
blanco,
this is really
it's
true.
really nice.
the blanco that you're trying is also from the lowlands, right? The valley, but it's very close to a hillside or a barranca, we call it in Spanish. And what that is think of a canyon, really. And if you go there, it's beautiful. It's maybe, I would say probably 1,000 feet drop.
Wow.
It's amazing, the depreciation of the Sierra Madre. Close to what you see here in Colorado or close to Nevada. So down there's this huge waterfall, and the plants that grow there, they get advantage of that waterfall. So you get this mineral taste too. You know, you get all those notes from the pepperies and a little bit of lime, but also it's the freshness of that water. And it is an amazing blanco. You should, you tasted it already.
I mean, it's
So clean.
You should definitely try it.
fantastic.
It's clean, it's delicate, it's floral, and I think it almost even, I taste that minerality.
And what would this bottle retail for in a store?
That should be around the 50s or 60s,
Okay.
depending where you get it. But yeah, it's not
Lovely.
terribly expensive.
For a similar price point, you guys, this is head and shoulders above some of your
Way
maybe something you
Some
may be
other
more
products
used
Way
you
better.
might
Yeah.
spend $50 to
Yeah,
$60 on.
We wanted to try different things, and the important thing also, you can see the bottle, the amount of effort that goes. We were talking about the hand-blown bottles. You can even see, probably if you step behind it, you'll see that it's kind of like this to the side.
Yeah.
imperfections. That's
because it's all, artisanal made. It's just once somebody was actually doing and put it on the press and all that. The same with the cork and the glass. So
you can taste that the
amazing.
handmade. The flavor is there, right? It's not something coming off of a conveyor belt.
machine.
Right.
You know,
Well, and for anyone watching, as we pan across these bottles, for the most part, a lot of these brands are probably going to be new to you, and that's because these aren't mass-produced tequilas.
Exactly.
These aren't your Patrons, your Jose Cuervos, your,
Your
not that there's anything wrong with those.
The tortilla gold.
Yeah,
what was
la
it?
tortilla.
Yeah, not the tortilla gold.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that. However, it is really, really wonderful to really see the difference between a smaller batch product.
The taste is just completely off.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about this.
Yeah.
Mass produced has a certain taste that a lot of people like, because that's why there's millions of bottles out there. However, the small batch production has a completely different taste, and a lot of people are finding them out. And the more you learn and educate yourself, the more you're gonna find your perfect jewel, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
that's a good
I
way to
love
put it.
that.
That's
Taste
what
through
we-
until you find your fave.
Yeah.
So I think we should go to an añejo next.
There you
Yeah.
go. We'll do it. That's
Do it.
next. So again, the difference between them is just the number of months that is in the barrel. So this one here is the Don Fernando Añejo, and it's also from the lowlands, right? We visit just a minute ago the Blanco of this kind.
Ooh, look at the color.
This one, the color is not as dark as you
I
can
was
see.
just gonna say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
this
yeah.
is an añejo,
Thi-
but it looks like
this
a
one
Blanco.
here is aged for 2 years.
Okay.
And the reason why it's not as dark is because, as I was telling before, is the wood that you use. It will give the color.
Right.
This wood here is bourbon wood, but it has not been re-charred. So after they empty the bourbon, they didn't re-char the wood, so that's why it comes a little more clear. A lot of people will see that and say, oh, well, that's more like a reposado. It's not. If you put the reposado on the side, you'll see that the reposado is a lot clearer than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The reposados tend to be towards the yellow color, and the añejos will be towards the brown color.
Yeah, more
That's-
amber brown.
So what do you think of the taste of this?
I've only kissed it so far. I'm going in for my step 2 here.
Step 2.
Yeah, so the barrel adds a lot of flavors to the tequila. The longer you leave it on the wood, the more of the stuff or characteristics from that wood are going to be represented on the tequila. To a point that if you leave it more than, I'll say, 5 years, the wood start taking over any of the agave traces.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, you go to a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old barrel of tequila,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so overwhelming the flavor of the wood that the agave is gonna be completely.
There's a lot of whiskeys like
Yeah.
that come to mind.
The older is not always the
Right.
best.
There's a sweet spot generally where it's kind of perfect at a
So
certain age.
That's why after 3 years you can call it extrañejo, but then after the 5 year it starts to go a little bit lower. 10 year or 15 years, I think it overwhelms the flavor of agave.
Right.
A lot of people like that though. There's nothing wrong with it. Just understand that once you pass 5 years, I think the agave flavor goes down. And the
Right,
wood
that makes
flavor
I think
goes
so
up.
too. Yeah, wood takes over.
This would be something I would love to give to someone who's more of a whiskey drinker to get them started on the tequila
Totally.
train.
Exactly.
Well,
Looks
thank you
better.
so much, Juan, for being here with us today. Check out Viva Tequila Festival coming to Atlanta September 25th. I know Cody and I will be there. Juan will be there, and
Absolutely.
you really don't want to miss it. Over 21.
Over 21 and get your ride there and back figured out.
Yes.
So you can enjoy as much tequila as possible.
There you go.
Great advice. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Salud.